We'll now talk about the hosted payment page and payment button functionality provided by the Transaction Express system. As a merchant, you have the flexibility to create your own payment buttons and associate those payment buttons with web pages that you've created on your website. We'll now go in and demonstrate how to set up your hosted payment page and how to create payment buttons for something as simple as accepting a donation. The Transaction Express system allows a merchant to be set up for their own hosted payment page, and within that, they can create payment buttons for things such as donation acceptance. In this scenario, a merchant simply clicks on the admin function on the left navigation bar and selects Hosted Payment Page Customization. The merchant is now presented with the setup for their hosted payment page. As a merchant, you have the flexibility to set up a merchant-facing page or a consumer-facing page. Consumer-facing pages are primarily used for internet commerce-based payments coming from a website. After selecting consumer-facing page, the merchant simply defines which types of payments they wish to accept on their website and selects the checkboxes. They have the ability to require CAPTCHA be used, or they can turn it off. The last two remaining options the merchant will set is if they want to present a receipt page to the cardholder after the payment is successfully processed. And lastly, they have the ability to customize the image that appears at the top of the hosted page. In this example, we'll go ahead and stay with the Transaction Express logo, but a merchant does have the flexibility to upload their own logo if they desire. After selecting all of your options, simply click the Update button. The merchant has now defined their hosted page. The next step in the process, if a merchant would like to create and define their own payment buttons to be loaded to their website, they simply open the Click Express tab. If they're accepting ACH, they define the type of payment they wish to accept. They can define a predefined dollar amount for the payment button. If left blank, the merchant is allowing the consumer to choose the amount of the payment. In this scenario, we'll set up a donation button and we'll leave this amount blank. The merchant also has the flexibility to create a recurring payment or store that payment for future use by the cardholder. The next options are options that the merchant may choose to require the cardholder to enter as part of the payment process. They could require address information by checking the AVS required box, CVV2 information for card verification, and if they're sending confirmation emails, they would check the email required box. In this scenario, we'll leave these blank. The next two items are the URL where the cardholder is directed after the transaction is successfully processed, or the URL where the cardholder is sent if they decide to cancel out of a transaction. If the merchant is accepting ACH payments, they can define the ACH descriptor that will appear on the check writer's statement on their bank account. In this scenario, we're not accepting ACH payments, so we'll leave this as testing. The last item the merchant must define is the name of the button being created. In this case, we're going to call this Donate Now. Once we've defined our button, we click the Create button, and the Transaction Express system will automatically create the HTML code that can be copied and pasted onto a merchant's website to create a payment button that is labeled Donate Now. In this example, I'm going to copy this information into Notepad, save this to my desktop, I have now created the code required to create a payment button on a hosted page. If we look at the Donate link, you now see that this button was created using the code generated by the Transaction Express system. When the cardholder clicks this button, they'll be directed to the hosted page for the merchant where they can then make their donation. Once you're at the hosted page, you simply select the type of payment you want to submit as a cardholder, enter the appropriate data necessary, the amount you wish to donate, your name, and click Submit. Once the transaction has successfully been processed, it is now stored, and we present a receipt to the cardholder for the donation that was submitted.